daily soccer podcast with the Global Sports Podcast Network.
Hello everyone, welcome back to the Daily Manchester United. I'm Kieran, and on today's episode we're going to be taking a bit of a deep dive. Well, I say a deep dive, but at least a look back at the last game we had hosting Sunderland in the build-up to the Sunderland game. We've got a couple of episodes coming up for you later in the week. Tomorrow's one will be a pretty special one, so I'm glad to be bringing that one to you, but mum's the word on that one for now before we have our preview episode, of course, as well, ahead of the Sunderland game on Saturday. Now, the last time we faced Sunderland at Old Trafford was all the way back on Boxing Day in 2016. Remember the times when the festive fixtures didn't mean constant losses and embarrassment? Yeah, me neither. Anyway, we won this game 3-1, and it was also, correct me if I'm wrong, this was the scorpion kick from Mkhitaryan that might have been slightly offside, but it's okay, we'll forgive him. But it was a side that, I mean, I'd kill for a team like this now. We went 1-0 up through Daley Blind, 2-0 up through Zlatan Ibrahimovic, 3-0 up with Henrik Mkhitaryan before Fabio Borini scored a consolation goal in the 90th minute of the match. Manchester United 3, Sunderland 1. And, well, I mean, the lineups there are a real callback, especially when you look at the Sunderland side. A real callback of Streets Won't Forget. Fabio Borini, Victor Anichebe, you've got Seb Larsson, Patrick van Aanholt, Jason Denayer, who I think went on to Celtic after that stint. Borini, of course, absolutely loved by Sunderland, as far as I remember. And you've got Seb Larsson, that's a name I haven't heard for a while. Wabi Kazri was on the bench for Sunderland. Vito Manone, our good old John O'Shea, was playing for Sunderland at the time. Donald Love, ex-Manchester United player. George Honeyman, Joel Asoro. I mean, they're all pretty much, very memorable players on the Sunderland side. And yeah, it was a Sunderland side that, signed Defoe. There you go. Just throw him out there and be done with it. It didn't score in this game, but Jermaine Defoe was brilliant, wasn't he? He really was. As a Manchester United supporter, obviously, you have to preface it. Anything you say about a rival club, he was fantastic. A fantastic striker, just phenomenal. And that move from to Tottenham just really sealed how much of a legend he was. So prolific in front of goal, just such an intelligent player, and the finishing prowess to match with it. Would have loved to have him on the team, but I suppose we had someone who was more willing to be the backup. Jermaine Defoe, in his Tottenham days, rightly or wrongly, was more known as a super sub, which seems really harsh because I think he did start most games, didn't he? It was for England he would come off the bench and put in an absolute shift. So maybe unfairly, and Tottenham fans will be right at me in the comments there about how, Jermaine Defoe wasn't, he was a starter. He probably was. But a bit like Javier Hernandez, more known for changing games off the bench, which is harsh. But anyway. I digress. Fantastic player. And even when he was playing for Sunderland at that time, still a very dangerous player. There's one player who lives rent-free in my head, Patrick van Aanholt. Now, I've got to look up Patrick van Aanholt because I'm sure he scored so many goals against Manchester United. I don't know if it was a false memory. I don't know if it was the fact that he used to score against me in FIFA career modes when he used to play for Sunderland. I'm trying to think about how many goals he did score against Manchester United. It's quite phenomenal. But anyway, really good fullback on his day, and managed to pick up 18 goals and 14 assists. So, yeah, not too bad at all. I'm just going to have a look back here on the Premier League website for the season, that 2016-17 season. I actually scored 5 goals and got an assist in that season. So, not too bad. Not too bad for Patrick van Aanholt. I'll have to look up. I'm pretty sure. Maybe that was my one of many career modes where Patrick van Aanholt would always score against me. So that's probably why I remember him so much. But anyway, he was a decent player as well. And Victor Anichebe. Now there is a player who was just, Everton, West Brom, Sunderland. Made his mark at Everton, of course, moved on to West Brom for 3 years there. And I mean, in all honesty, looking back at his stats for Everton, he really, probably his best season in an Everton shirt was probably in the 08-09 season. Sorry, no, that's the 2012-2013, I would say. Just having a look at the stats here, 19 appearances, 6 goals. I mean, and Ichibi wasn't a, how would you say? He wasn't the most prolific striker, but he could turn up with a goal in one of those moments. I mean, then not once in the Premier League did he get more or get into double figures, which I feel like is me misremembering that. I always thought Anichebe was, quite a good goal scorer, but maybe I'm, blending reality and video game, maybe, but there we go. Barini was one I do remember him being at Sunderland and absolutely loving it there because he was on loan from Liverpool in the 2013-14 season, made the move permanent a year later and spent 3 seasons, I think, at Sunderland. And in that 2015-16 season, he made 22 appearances, scored 5 goals. And in the Premier League as well, in the 16-17 season, made 19 appearances, scored twice. So again, not the most prolific, but I know Sunderland do love Barini. And when it's one of those where if you put your heart on the line, it's one of those, isn't it? It is one of those players who put their hearts on the line, players who give it their all, give their all for the badge. They're going to be well loved, and I specifically remember that Barini was a well loved player on Weir's side. Then you have a look at Manchester United's squad as well. This is a callback as well. David De Gea, obviously, we've mentioned on him time and time again on the podcast about, one of the best keepers in the world at this time in the sort of mid to late 2010s. You had Marcos Rojo, Daley Blind, Phil Jones and Valencia. That was your sort of back four. Yes, we used to play with the back four. Remember that? And then we had Ander Herrera, Michael Carrick, Juan Mata and Paul Pogba in the midfield with Jesse Lingard and Zlatan Ibrahimovic up front. And if you've listened to an episode before, you'll know my love for Zlatan Ibrahimovic. The one season he had with us, we won the Europa League and he was great. He was great. And again, we miss him. We do miss him. But times change. The more the things change, the more they stay the same. And I still stand by that De Gea, whilst he was a servant at the club, a fantastic player, those mistakes were creeping in more and more. And the wages he was on weren't really justified by the performances he was putting in. Do I miss him? Yeah, of course I do. But I think it made the most sense to let him go and, not satisfy the wages he was asking for, which is, it's not the way I wanted that to end. I think the way it ended was sour. The way he, spent a year out of football and now is playing in Serie A. I mean, full credit to him. I wish him all the best and hope he will continue to have a great season. As Niall and I discovered on the EAFC ratings, he's only lost 2 ratings since he moved away from Manchester United, from 87 to 85. So he's still a good quality keeper. Definitely one to pick up if you're, Football Manager's just around the corner. We'll have to check when De Gea's contract ends. But yeah, we missed out on FM25 because De Gea would have been a free agent. What a signing that would have been, hey? You see what we missed out on FM25? Oh, well, anyway, only a month to go before we can really sink our teeth into Football Manager. And I don't know. We'll see. We'll set a challenge, won't we? Anyway, I got slightly off topic there. I'll try and whisk my way back onto topic. And before I do that, we'll have a word from our sponsor. We'll be back after this.
Your daily soccer podcast with the Global Sports Podcast Network.
Your body is unique. And Global Sports Podcast Network has partnered with Bionic, the world's most personalised supplements. Bionic provide 100% tailor-made supplements designed to deliver precisely what your body needs at exactly the right levels to optimise your health. No guessing. So click the link in the show notes. Use the code GSPN2025 for 40% off your first month's subscription. Bionic. Don't settle for off-the-shelf solutions made for just anybody. Get what's right for you right now.
your daily soccer podcast with the Global Sports Podcast Network.
Well, although we faced Sunderland on Boxing Day at Old Trafford, it wasn't the last time we faced Sunderland in any competition. In fact, that went to the return fixture when we went to the Stadium of Light on the 9th of April 2017. And Jordan Pickford's still in goal. Of course, now plays for Everton. But another case of players that, the streets won't forget. Do you remember Jack Rodwell, Lee Cattermole? They were in the midfield on the return fixture at Sunderland. Brian Oviedo as well. Didier Ndong, who did play in the first fixture as well. Amin Kone as well. And then who would we have on the bench? Well, Seb Larsson got himself sent off after 43 minutes, so not quite there. But there's Darren Gibson, Stephen Pienaar on the bench. There you go, Darren Gibson turning out for Sunderland. You see, I got Darren Gibson mentioned. Niall will be absolutely thrilled with that. And then on the Manchester United side, you had Sergio Romero starting in goal for this one, with Joel Pereira on the bench. That might be a case of De Gea injury, which is very likely is what it was. But you also had Eric Bailly. There was a player that was ravaged by injury. I think Eric Bailly, if he weren't so injury prone, he would have been a decent player. But sadly, that didn't turn out the way. And you'll never guess who was on the bench for that game. Came off the bench to score in that game. As far as I see for Barcelona, you did get an assist tonight. Marcus Rashford getting a goal in the 89th minute. The game ended 3-0. Goals coming from Zlatan Ibrahimovic in the 30th minute. Henrik Mkhitaryan again in the 46th minute. So those two cropping up again. And then Marcus Rashford finishing off the scoring on the 89th minute. We did keep a clean sheet in that game this time around. But as we said, 43rd minute red card for Seb Larsson kind of wrapped things up. Well, nowadays, we don't get anybody else sent off, though we did have quite a few yellow cards towards the end of the game for the likes of Fellaini, Martial and Darmian. And Jose Mourinho said at the time, we want to fight in the Premier League until it is mathematically impossible. The Premier League we cannot win, but the Europa League we can. Yeah, I wonder whatever happened to Manchester United that season. Pretty forgettable season, wasn't it? Pretty forgettable, right? Am I right? That was phenomenal. At that point, Zlatan then had scored 250 goals in 308 appearances since his 30th birthday in 2011, which, that just showed you how he aged like fine wine. And I do remember it was coming towards the end of the season, and you had the pundits saying, Zlatan won't make it here. He won't make it in the Premier League. He the league's too tough for him. It's too physical. Oh, did he prove them wrong? And I had the biggest smile on my face when Zlatan was just in form. He was brilliant, absolutely brilliant. And for the one season or one and a couple of games season that we had with him were amazing. They really were. You remember Pogba as well? He's the reason Pogba signed. I mean, the ego was massive, but he backed it up. And now he's a cover star on FC 26 after that sort of falling out he had with FIFA Pro. Was that the way it worked over likenesses? I'll have to look further into that. In any case, it's a case of Zlatan doesn't play football. Football plays Zlatan. There you go. Football got its own Chuck Norris meme in there long ago. But anyway, again, slightly off topic. Sunderland manager at the time of that match was David Moyes, who said, I don't want to blame the referees for my position and us losing. Today, the result was helped by the referee. The red card was a decision that went against us. We went down to 10 men and it made things a lot harder. The hardest thing as a manager is losing, and we're losing a lot. The players care and want to do well, and we're not doing as well as we should be. We'll just say to past David Moyes, hang in there. When you get to West Ham, trust me, there's a trophy there. Doesn't seem like it, but there will be a trophy there. And I always kind of maintain that Moyes should have got a little bit more time at Manchester United. Seemed like an overreaction now, sacking someone over 7th and 8th place in the Premier League. Yeah, about that. Now we keep them if we finish 15th. I mean, who's to say, hey? Who's to say? Lots of talk coming into the match, but hey, what can you do? That's why we're here, and that's why you're listening as well. Hope you've enjoyed those couple of episodes, or at least a couple of look-backs at previous matches against Sunderland. But the 9th of April, I should say, 2017, is the last time we faced Sunderland in all competitions. And if you want a stat that'll add a loss to it, we first faced Sunderland. I say we, when it was named Newton Heath, we faced them on the 4th of March 1893, where we lost 5-0. In fact, since 1893, we wouldn't get a win against Sunderland until 1907. There you go. See, I'm picking out the facts for you here. The last time we lost to Sunderland, as I scroll through, 13th of February 2016, we lost 2-1 at the Stadium of Light. It was Wahbi Khazri with a 3rd-minute goal, Anthony Martial getting an equaliser, and it was a David De Gea own goal in the 82nd minute. DeAndre Yedlin started that day. There you go. And John O'Shea started that one. Oh, you love to see it. You love to see it. Anyway, that's it for now. We have only faced them. We've only faced them in the Premier League. That's the only competition we faced them in since 2014. But we'll see how it all goes, and we'll have a full preview and predicted 11s and how we think the game's going to go. But as an early start, let us know down in the comments, what do you think will happen, and who do you think will be back in the starting lineup? Get a head start on us, and we'll try not to copy your homework if you don't copy ours. Wink, wink, nudge, nudge. Anyway, thank you so much for listening and watching along. If you are on Spotify and Apple and you would like to watch these podcasts, well, I'm delighted to say that you can, and you are missing out because I'm giving you a lovely wave and a lovely smile. See, you're missing out on that. Don't miss out. Head over to YouTube, GSPN Daily Man United Podcast. It's such a long name, so you have to remember it. See, it's a tagline. It's very catchy. And also, you can follow us on all the social media and get involved in the conversation. On Twitter and X, it's GSPN Man United. It's the same on Instagram. It's the same on Facebook. And it's the same on TikTok, at GSPN Man United. Come and join the conversation and let us know who your early picks are to start in the side. Perhaps as well, you're thinking of a change of formation. Will it happen? Let us know. But of course, we can't give you and bring you these episodes without our partners at Zencastr. Because of the Global Sports Podcast Network, we spent a lot of time selecting our delivery platform, and Zencastr came out the clear winner. With 4K video recording from your phone and AI editing that can help you remove those ums, ahs, or any specific word you want from a podcast, it makes it super easy to start a podcast that sounds great and is delivered efficiently. So if you're ready to tell your story and it sounds very, very interesting to you, then make sure you check out the link in the show description to learn more about Zencastr. We'll be back with a couple more episodes on this week. Very special episode tomorrow coming up for you, so don't miss out on that before we round off with a preview episode and, of course, the after-match podcast where I'm hoping it's a win. Can you see that far into the future? I reckon you can. Anyway, I've been Kieran. You've been listening. Take care of yourselves, and we'll chat to you very soon. Bye-bye.
Your daily soccer podcast with the Global Sports Podcast Network.